Happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome to the Loose Leaf Media Podcast Halloween series. My name is Davis Leaf. I'm here with my co-host,
Romanus.
And you're looking at me so confused.
I'm very confused by this intro.
Yeah, well, you're confused by it, but this is the Halloween series.
Is it?
Yeah.
When are we releasing this?
We're starting it at the start of October.
Yeah, but I'm very confused, but let's just keep going.
You're looking at the calendar.
I am. Oh, okay. This is the first episode in the Halloween series. Got it.
Congratulations. We've been outed as people that don't actually coordinate what we're doing.
Well, that's happened twice today because we're reviewing a Batman movie that I did not write notes for. I just saw two other Batman movies.
That's fair. Did you watch those movies?
I did.
Well, interesting. I mean, we can bring that into the conversation a little
We
bit
have
here.
to.
Yeah.
Or this work will go just completely wasted.
Yeah, same here. Like, I did watch the one we'll be talking about, but I only wrote one note down because I was really into the movie.
Yeah. You've done that a few times. I've seen you write notes in the theater, and it's dark as hell.
Yeah.
And Davis is using it's so funny when you're trying to write notes down because sometimes the screen will be bright enough for you to see in the theater.
You gotta pick my moments.
And then when it's dark, I can see you like roll your eyes in the back of your head like, oh fuck.
I didn't get enough time. No. I gotta invest in those glow in the dark pens that like elementary school kids would do. I think so. I think I remember that being something.
See, but then won't you distract other people watching in the theater?
I mean, it glows. It doesn't, it's not that vibrant. I don't know. We'll see. We'll give it a shot someday. But anyway, I mean, we're talking about some Batman today, but specifically, we're talking about The Batman, the Matt Reeves adaptation from 2.5 years ago now, with Robert Pattinson and Colin Farrell, Jeffrey Wright, Zoe Kravitz. But before that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about how you feel, but I'm a pretty big fan of Batman.
I fucking love Batman, dude.
He's like my favorite comic book character of all time.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. I grew up with Batman, and I think it's a cliche when people say that now. It's just everybody grew up with everything. Mm-hmm. No, this shit just... I can't remember enjoying a movie before this, maybe besides Toy Story, but there's Toy Story and Mask of the Phantasm.
Interesting.
Just Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah.
I still watch Batman the Animated Series to this day, even though it came out in the early 90s when I was born.
And you saw the new iteration of that animated series that came out a couple months ago, right?
It came out on Amazon, I think like 2 months ago.
Cool.
I forget what is it, Batman, not Batman the new animated series, but it's whatever. Mm-hmm. It's on Amazon.
I don't remember the name of it either.
Yeah. Already you can tell that I am underprepared. But I thought that it was a very good addition to the Batman mythology. And it's not directly related to Batman the Animated Series. It has that neo-noir feel. It's Batman in a noir sort of Gotham City. It's very dark. It's very just foggy, and it has it's actually the animators colored it on black paper.
Really?
Yeah, to give you that sense of...
So it's real 2D animation. It's all still hand drawn, kind of like the classic animated series.
No, the classic animated series that I'm talking about. In this one, it's it's more like an art house sort of animation feel.
Is it digital?
Yes, I think so.
Got it.
So it definitely not hand drawn, and that's okay actually. I still feel like this newer version of Batman the Animated Series is it does enough new material. It adds new ideas to certain characters in Batman just as itself, Gotham City, to make it a fresh addition to Batman comic shows, whatever. There's a few episodes in particular that made me feel for certain villains that I didn't think that I could feel as sorry for them. And in a lot of different movies, a lot of different shows, comics, they try really hard to make Gotham seem corrupt, and they depict the corruption in different ways. It's a city where there's corruption in politics and in the policing, and just there's mob influence.
Mm-hmm.
This show, I think, does one of the best ones, one of my favorite ones for sure.
Okay.
Because even the villains are victims of the corruption in the city,
mm-hmm.
and you feel sorry for a lot of them. Probably my favorite depiction of Two-Face in anything. In anything. Probably my favorite, just because it doesn't. Of course, Two-Face is a character where he is Harvey Dent, mm-hmm. this great lawyer in the city, and then he is, due to an assassination attempt, he's scarred on his face. So someone throws acid on his face, and he's starts out as very handsome, mm-hmm. but now half of his face becomes is just
disfigured.
He's disfigured, right? Mm-hmm. And so it sort of changes his personality. Half of him is still Harvey Dent, and then the other half, the villain, mm-hmm. Two-Face, is this mobster. Mm-hmm. But the transition is more natural in this show.
Okay.
It still feels human. It still feels right, and you sort of understand, like in other. Like Tommy Lee Jones, like that. That's like wild. Or even like Aaron Eckhart, in
mm-hmm.
the Dark Knight. Yeah. Like it feels like, okay, like, is this district attorney gonna just become a mobster in one night? Even after this, I don't know. This one is more. I understand his actions. I understand why he's just crazy. The anxiety that he feels, done really well. Another episode done really well, and I haven't even talked about Batman yet, right?
Yeah.
But like
mm-hmm.
I think that the villains are just more interesting in this show than even Batman.
I think something that's very important. I think there's a lot of boxes that need to be checked when you are constructing a new Batman story, mm-hmm. and Batman's colorful rogues gallery is one
Absolutely.
of them. Getting that right, depending
mm-hmm.
on who you are, like who the villain is.
Mm-hmm.
Batman's relationship with the law enforcement, particularly, needs to be illustrated very well.
Mm-hmm.
And the characterization of Gotham itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are some of the founding pillars that need to be present to make like a really exceptional Batman story. And there's other aspects, obviously, like certain characters,
his relationship with Alfred,
exactly, his one rule of never killing people.
Absolutely,
there's all of these qualifications that come into making a really good Batman story. But
everything that you said is done excellently.
That's refreshing to know.
And I mean, of course, there's Bruce Timm that's involved with it. He,
mm-hmm.
of course, contributed to the original Batman the Animated Series from the 90s.
Yeah.
Matt Reeves is also involved. He's an executive producer on the new animated show. And who's your guy? The guy who ruined Star Wars. And he did Star Trek.
Rian Johnson, or no, J.J. Abrams.
Ryan Johnson definitely ruined Star Wars. J.J. Abrams just sealed the deal. But anyway,
that's another conversation we can have.
Hey, we can have it right now, baby.
I mean, what's great is I was actually hoping you were going to mention Star Wars in this episode, because because like you remember, like on several episodes ago when we said that there are certain things that you always mention every
mm-hmm.
episode and I always mention.
Mm-hmm. I
was thinking to myself, this is going to be a perfect episode for me to mention the thing that I always mention.
I think Star Wars will be mentioned at my funeral. I'm gonna have someone, maybe you I'm gonna ask you, because I'm probably gonna die before you, and so,
if you say so.
I'm gonna ask you to just talk about my grievances for the Star Wars franchise at my funeral, and just have my family and loved ones, all three of them.
Nope.
Okay.
I'll tell you what.
That's it for me, guys.
I'll make you a deal.
All right.
I'll do it, but I'm gonna put a bunch of lies in it.
Sure. Why not?
I'm gonna talk about how much you love The Last Jedi.
Oh, fuck you.
I'm gonna talk about
no,
and that one's just for me. I'm gonna also mention, just like, he actually was one of the few people that thought that Attack of the Clones was underrated.
No.
You'll literally jump out of that casket.
I will.
And you'll be like, the fuck I did.
Bring me back to life, yeah. No, but great. As a big fan of Batman the Animated Series, I love this new show from Amazon. And it was a shame that HBO Max didn't pick it up instead of Amazon. I'm glad that they picked it up, and they're gonna have a new season. The Joker will be in the second season.
Interesting.
Yeah, dude. It's have you seen the show yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, watch the show.
Yeah.
Because even this new version of Batman is not typical, or even
is it Kevin, or Kevin's not voicing him because he died?
No, he
recently.
died. Kevin Conroy.
I didn't know if like I know R.I.P. Kevin Conroy, but I didn't know if he had done any recordings for this series before he had died, or what the situation.
No,
was
his
there.
last recording, he was just in this new movie series that they're doing for just these DC comics. I forget what it is. The final whatever, just comic book bullshit. I totally. Simultaneously love and hate comic books. I don't know what it is.
It's easier to dislike them now than it was before because it's just the oversaturation, which is so funny because back in the day, nerds like us, we would read these kinds of comic books and we feel like we would have to kind of hide them.
People made fun of me for this shit.
Yeah,
and even with anime, I feel like it was worse. I
can imagine.
Oh my God, people. Even though, I don't know, it was weird because I was part of the anime club and I was the captain of the football team, so it just kind of...
Good for you. You were the captain of the football team.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh, dude, I was prom king. I was everywhere.
Okay.
I was on the chess club, debate team.
You lost me a little bit there with the prom king, but...
I was prom king.
Okay, if you say so.
Whoa.
Show me the crown. Show me the crown.
I have
Show
to
me
find
the plastic crown.
It was blue.
Okay. So do you still have the crown?
I don't have the crown.
That's too bad.
I mean, it could be at my house, but we could find people to corroborate this.
Sure, yeah. So, anyway.
We are already 12 minutes
Mr. Prom King.
Oh, shit.
That's nice.
Did you go to prom?
Yes, I did.
What were you dressed like? Let me.
I wore a tux.
Okay, what color?
Black.
Okay, classy.
It's classic. It's not that. Why you're so surprised? Everybody wears the same thing.
Well, I mean,
yeah, I had a pink tie.
Okay, pink. Was your date dressed in pink?
Yes.
Okay, it matched.
It did. That was the intention.
How does she look?
Good.
Okay.
Huge, a very large dress. Very large dress.
Yes.
Yeah, it was cool though. It was a showstopper.
Yeah. In a good way.
In a very good way.
Well, the prom that I was at, a girl got kicked out because her dress was too revealing, and she was crying the whole time. We all went to a diner after, and she was crying the whole time in the middle of this diner.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
The crying.
Oh. I hate that we've. You know what? Well, I mean, we could cut this. It's okay.
We don't need to.
No, okay.
But anyway, Batman.
Batman.
No, I'm happy to hear that series is good. You've inspired me for sure to check it out soon. I wanted to originally, but I remember when X-Men 97 came out, like in the spring, and I was hesitant to get back into that because it's like, a continuation from the classic show from the 90s that everybody likes. Do we really need that? And then it was only like 10 short episodes, and then I watched it and I'm like, wow, this is great. The animation is spectacular, and the character maturity and growth is really good, and I'm like, wow, this is actually a little kind of for adults. Like, this is kind of an X-Men series for adults.
I think that the two shows had different problems where or just they achieve different things. X-Men 97 is much better than the X-Men cartoon.
Oh yeah, the original.
Just
90s,
it blows it out of the water.
Yeah.
Like
I would agree.
Right? Okay. Batman the Animated Series from the 90s is an incredible show. And this show from Amazon, this new Batman cartoon, has just very big shoes to fill, right? And I think for the most part it does, but it's not better than Batman the Animated Series.
It's nice. It's nice to get like a reintroduction into that kind of realm of animated Batman media.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of it. There's been a lot of Batman movies, like animated movies over like the last decade. Yeah. Some of which have been pretty good. Others have not. I remember when they did a animated adaptation of The Killing Joke.
Oh, fuck.
And it was the first time they had released one of those movies in theaters, and I got some friends together, and they're like, let's go check it out, because it's going to be like a hard R, and then like a good 40 minutes.
You mean R-rated?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, what did you think I meant?
Like in-word hard R.
I
was like, whoa.
Just like, he said that.
Oh, no.
Poor Robin.
No. Oh, wow.
That's why they colored him black in the movie.
Damn.
Anyway.
There's an old joke about that, but I think for this podcast, we're a family show. as you know.
Of course, everybody knows.
Never,
Christian family. We have our...
I couldn't even hold it when you said that.
I'll tell you what. If I remember this, we'll come back at the end of the episode, and I want to hear that joke.
When the mics are off, I'll tell you the joke.
Okay.
Right.
We'll write it in the comments.
No.
Through an anonymous account. But I went and saw The Killing Joke in theaters. Mm-hmm. And about 40 minutes into it, I'm just like, this sucks.
It's terrible.
I don't like this at all. and I obviously, if you're a Batman comic reader, you know The Killing Joke is one of the most influential Batman comics of all time. Mm-hmm. And it's terrific. It's groundbreaking. It's dark. And it's got some of the most interesting work with the Joker ever done on the page. But the animated film was not good at all. And they added a lot of things into it that just did not need to be there. They took out things that should have been there, and all for just an hour and 20-minute runtime too. It's because it's still pretty short, and I'm like, you could have just done it. You could have just done the story normally if you're gonna do it at all.
Yeah, even if to just make it a short film, because I know the graphic novel is not very long.
No.
But you could have made it a short film.
Exactly.
And that's okay. But what's interesting is Batman as a character, and a lot of people are automatically turned off by animation or comics because they think it's for kids. But there have been so many great stories just done with Batman himself because he's just such a interesting character about grief and justice and the line between vigilantism and heroism, right? And of course, it's a badass guy in a suit kicking ass, but just underneath, there's just been a ton of stories that have a lot more depth to it. And there's been other stories like Zorro, for example, where just in history where you have just stories like this where a guy in a mask is fighting crime, like Robin Hood or whatever.
Like just a freedom fighter in a lot of ways.
Sure, yeah. And I think that a lot of people just try or just don't broaden their horizons or just don't have the imagination to look past the just it's just a way for storytelling, right? Absolutely. Like Batman is just a way to tell just these different stories. The Dark Knight is a crime thriller, right? Like it's,
and I would say the same thing about the newest one, The Batman. Also,
it's a crime thriller. It's a neo-noir mystery
very
in
much
a lot
so,
of ways.
Yeah.
A modern noir mystery.
A lot more in the vein of something like David Fincher.
Oh,
there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
We did it, guys. Time to end the episode.
We got our Star Wars. We got our David Fincher. Well, thank you for coming, everybody.
Yes, thank you, everybody. No, even like Mask of the Phantasm is a drama.
Yeah,
it's of course it has a mystery too, but it's a drama about a vigilante mourning the life that he could have had.
Absolutely.
And it's if he wasn't so dedicated to his mission.
I think there's so much social commentary that exists in the world of Batman in terms of his relationship with, the law and, as you said, justice, because Batman sometimes is doing the right things for the wrong reasons, and it's also vice versa. He thinks he's doing the wrong things but for the right reasons, and a lot of social commentary comes from it's like fully on display, I think, in a very different way in the recent Batman movie, but there's a lot of really good social commentary from The Dark Knight as well in terms of how it kind of illustrates the justice system and society, because that movie is a little bit more concerned with how, like, the due processes of the law than the newest Batman movie is. Because the newest one, like you said, it's more of a mystery noir, like neo-noir thriller, and it just wants you to just kind of sit back and watch this caper get unraveled, essentially. And so, kind of getting into it with the new Batman movie.
Finally.
It is very much a crime thriller mystery film. It's very gritty. It's very dark, and it feels something like Seven, almost like David Fincher's Seven.
Yeah,
because you have the Riddler, who was, first of all, just a great choice to kind of start this new era of Batman on screen for a villain, like, and a really incredible reinvention of that villain as well. It takes some pieces from different comic book stories with the Riddler, but it also takes kind of like the torturous elements from like the Arkham games from the Riddler, and you got Paul Dano playing him, and he's just an operator essentially, who's trying to expose the corruption hidden underneath the city of Gotham, while everybody is just blissfully allowing themselves to sink into poverty. No, I shouldn't say blissfully allowing it. They're just like accepting that this is the status quo of Gotham City right now. And then as the story goes on, you understand why and why and why a lot more. And then you have this figure, Batman, and this story particularly takes a lot of influence from like the Long Halloween graphic novel, Batman the Long Halloween.
Absolutely.
Because it takes place on Halloween, and that's part of the reason why we're doing this episode. And Batman Year 2, because he expresses that he's been doing this for a couple years now, and how he can't really figure out the crime statistics as to why, in the time that he has been doing this vigilantism, crime has only skyrocketed and gone higher. And a lot of the ultimate themes of the movie are about how violence never solves the issue, how Batman is a figure that inspired a lot of people, specifically the Riddler, to do something similar but in their own way, by instilling violence and chaos into the streets of Gotham to gain control of the criminal underworld. And it's brilliant. It's really brilliant. It's dark. It's unforgiving. And this might be my favorite portrayal of Gotham as a city too, because it actually has a lot of like gothic production design to it. It's pretty much all the cinematography is just constant orange grays. It's the city's always soaking wet. It always feels like it's raining, and it's just like it's the biggest shithole that I've ever seen Gotham look in any movie. Yeah, I would never want to live there.
The opening scenes look very filthy. The subway looks atrocious.
Oh God.
There's garbage everywhere. It's like you said, like the streets are just always damp.
It's just a trash heap.
It looks like it rained 5 minutes ago constantly. Yeah. The humidity is coming off the screen. It looks like you want to take a shower right after the movie.
It's gloomy, and there's one very notable moment in the movie that I remember when it's like daytime, and it's when the funeral for the mayor is happening, and it's like the first time that Bruce Wayne goes out in public as himself with his public image, and he gets out of his car and he's walking up the stairs. And it's daytime, but it's like cloudy and gloom, and still the color palette is nothing but black and gray everywhere. And it's like, what a fucking miserable place this is to live.
Well, yeah, because even just from the directing, we don't see the sun but once in the movie, and it's a pivotal point in the movie. Yeah. Right? It's done purposefully because just Gotham is under a dark cloud the whole entire movie, or it's nighttime where you can't see the clouds, right? Exactly. But it's the movie's great. I saw it 4 times in theaters.
I think I saw it like 3 or 4 as well.
Yeah, I was bringing people to come see it with me.
Same. I'm like, you gotta check this shit out. This is good.
hear the good word. Batman is back.
Batman is back.
And Robert Pattinson is Batman. I was not sold before the movie.
I wasn't fully sold either, but I thought like he would be a good choice.
And when I saw the suit, just pictures before the movie, I'm like, oh fuck, I don't like it.
See, everybody always hates on like suit reveals before superhero movies come on.
I do too.
Everybody hates the suit until they see the movie.
I am absolutely one of those people. I hated the Batfleck suit, and then when I saw it on screen, I was like, fuck yeah, Batfleck all the way.
That makes one of us.
And oh really?
Yeah. That was one case where I was like, I hated the suit before it came out, and I hated it after.
Well, it does look like there's duct tape everywhere, but when he's in action, I love it.
I love his physicality as the character of Batman. I hate the small ass ears. I don't like the bulkiness of it. It's just like it's too much, and I hate the logo. I hate the fucking fat ass symbol.
It's too fat. Well, then, this movie. It definitely seems like a Batman where it's year 2, right? It's not all the way together. There's some stuff that the cape. It does look like Batman Year 2. It's not the refined suit that we're used to seeing.
He's
in
so
other movies.
tactical looking too.
Yeah,
like almost like he's militarized himself.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't know if that was an intentional part of the costume designer, but I mean, for a lot of the themes that the movie's going for, I could see it. But the minute in the beginning of the movie where you just hear his footsteps coming out of the darkness, and then he walks right out. My theater couldn't when I first saw this in theaters. They couldn't. I remember they couldn't decide whether or not to clap or not, and some people kind of clapped and let out a woo, but others were just you could sense the intimidation.
Yes,
which I think is the intention of that moment too, where it's just it's not the ultimate reveal of the superhero. It's this maniac that's just coming out of the darkness in a bat suit that's about to beat a bunch of people up.
When that scene happened, my eyes were about to pop out of my head. Dude. I just was. The music is important too, right? It's
Michael Giacchino score.
And then when the fighting starts,
and then right when he gets the first punch, the music just cuts out for that entire fight scene, and you just hear the sound design doing exceptional work.
It is. Scene. He just rips a guy apart in front of this gang.
Yeah,
my God,
I think he's probably my favorite Batman, on screen, just because this is what I envision Batman being like. Anytime I read a comic book or anytime I've seen the animated series and things like that, this is that live action interpretation of the character that I like. He doesn't really talk that much either.
No.
And anytime he talks, he's not mumbling, but he's just very, very soft.
Wispy.
Yeah, which is such a which adds to that intimidation.
I'm vengeance.
Just I'm vengeance. Hey. Thumb drive.
Oh, this guy's
hilarious.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper you.
Behind closed doors with Zoe and Robert Pattinson.
I thought that was going somewhere else. Man. This week's been crazy.
It has been a long weekend.
It's been, for some people more than others.
Probably.
Yeah.
But, what a great reveal of the character.
One of my favorite reveals for Batman, because every movie has a Batman reveal, maybe except for Batman Begins.
Oh, no, there's a Batman reveal. Breaks down. That's probably my second favorite. He breaks through the car hood, takes up Carmine Falcone, and just goes, "I'm Batman."
Yes.
Headbutts him.
Yeah.
Then he looks at the guy from years ago, and he's like, "Nice coat."
Yes.
And just takes
That's
off
a
into
good
the
one.
night.
That's a good.
It's a great moment.
That's a great one. I like the Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton's good. I like his reveal too.
The only one I hate is probably the George Clooney and what's his face one. From the Joel Schumacher Batman movies.
Yeah. George Clooney and Robin? I don't remember.
Batman
and
Robin.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin, and then there's Batman. Oh God, what is it called?
Forever.
Batman Forever.
The Val Kilmer one is crazy. just can I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir? Oh, get drive-through.
That's wild.
That's the reveal of Batman in that movie.
Well, when Batman is talking to Mr. Freeze. Hi, Mr. Freeze. I'm Batman.
Hey, Freeze. I'm Batman.
That's just fucking terrible.
Just sounds like George Clooney in a Batman suit.
It is. It fucking is.
He didn't even, I love George Clooney, but he really didn't even give a shit.
That's probably George Clooney's worst movie, right?
Probably, yeah.
It probably is. Yeah. And it's okay. We all have bad days.
I still have a soft spot for that one, though. Batman and Robin.
What?
Because it's one of those so bad it's good movies to me.
No, I disagree.
Yeah, but you know every line from that movie.
I do.
Oh, the classic. Yeah, because you know that.
I can.
Okay, everyone. Chill.
When he's freeze.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
But I saw that movie recently on a flight to LA. And
so you intentionally watched it.
Well, I was curious because I knew we were doing this review, so I was like, let me go through. I saw all the Batman movies this last week.
Really? You watched through all of them?
I watched all except for The Batman because I was like, I've seen this.
You were convinced we were going to talk about every other Batman movie but the one we were going to talk about. That's great.
I'm an asshole.
That's hilarious.
No,
that's
but
gold.
that was the only movie I couldn't get through. because Mr. Freeze, his hideout is an ice cream cone factory.
Isn't it like still called like, or no, I was gonna say, is it still called the Iceberg Lounge in there? No, that's the Penguin.
No, that's the Penguin.
Yeah, my bad.
And then
it is an ice cream cone
Mr.
factory.
Freeze is smoking an ice cigar, and he has.
Is he?
Yes, motherfucker.
Holy shit!
And
I love how all of his henchmen are just sitting there freezing to death, and he's just like trying to sing show tunes.
Yeah, and he has he has house shoes.
Oh yeah, he's got Mr. like blue
Freeze
slippers, and Vivica A. Fox is there.
Vivica, yeah, that's what shocked me the most out of this movie. I was like, how did I forget Vivica Fox was in?
Yeah.
She's trying to sleep with Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
But his wife is suspended in some liquid for some reason.
What do you say we heat things up?
Oh no.
Talk about the cold shoulder.
Oh, that's just terrible.
Oh man.
Another yeah, that movie sucks, but it's okay.
It's not a good movie.
Bane is just Bane.
Oh my god,
not even Bane. It's just a green just idiot.
Yeah. He kills me in that movie. Just anytime he just repeats things that Poison Ivy says, that makes me laugh every single time.
But he's like
he's just a dumb kid.
He's just saying Bane though. It's like they turned Bane into a fucking Pokemon. He's just saying his name. This guy is supposed to be this brilliant villain from South America who escaped this like jail, and now he's supposed to be almost Batman's equal intellectually.
Yeah.
There's
not enough people in that movie that just kind of are on the same page. You know what I mean? Where it just feels like everybody's acting in a different movie.
Yeah,
like I think about the Poison Ivy's like the doctor that she works with in the beginning of the movie, and that's like one of the only guys that kind of seems to understand what movie he's in.
No, I don't even know about that.
Because he's like, well, the thing is like the movie is so colorful and vibrant, and it's just like silly constantly. Mm-hmm. And then you go from that guy to just George Clooney sitting down in a room talking normally, and it's just such a jarring shift in tone. And then Alfred is like dying, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this story?
Alfred is dying of some disease.
Something. Yeah. Are they don't they say in that movie that it has like it's like the same disease as Freeze's wife? Yeah.
And it's some blue liquid that heals them.
That they don't explain.
And they just put it in an IV because Mr. Freeze has the exact vial for Alfred's IV.
I know. He does.
And then these
I've always wanted to drink
no,
that
hell
stuff.
No. This is the moment when I was like, fuck you. All right. This was the moment where I was like, get the fuck out of here. Batman and Robin are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Batman and Robin are trying to do this fundraiser.
Okay.
And
oh Jesus! Not the
and Poison Ivy comes out, and they're like auctioning off like a date for these women, and Poison Ivy's like, oh, you can auction me off, and Batman and Robin are just completely swooning over Poison Ivy, played by
Uma
Thurman, of Kill Bill fame, and they're under her like Poison Ivy dust that makes anybody attracted to her. And so, like, Robin and Batman are now fighting over getting with Poison Ivy, and they're like bidding on Poison Ivy. Mm-hmm. And Batman pulls out a Batman credit card. I just
never leave the cave without it.
Stop it.
I don't know, man. I don't know what the intention was there, but I know that after Batman Returns had came out, Warner Brothers was a little bit discouraged by how dark that movie was, and wanted to take things in a lot lighter and more colorful direction, and so they brought in Joel Schumacher, and he made his Batman movies. And the irony is like, ooh, we didn't want to be that fun and colorful, and then fucking like 6 or 7 years later, in comes Christopher Nolan to like really reinvent the entire superhero genre.
I actually like Batman Returns, but
I love Batman Returns. That's like top 5 favorite Batman movies for me.
Same. Yeah. I think
because it is one of the darkest ones in the series. Batman actually kills people in that movie.
That's the only issue that I have with the movies. Batman is murdering in both Michael Keaton Batman movies.
He really is
murdering people left and right.
Yep.
Like he ties a bomb to a guy and throws him off a roof. It's like overkill.
He does not give a fuck.
You kill people on the street too, Batman. My favorite depiction of Catwoman, though, is
Me too.
Right, in Batman Returns.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer's great as Catwoman.
I think she's just like, I think she's so good in that movie where it's like, I like some of the other ones too. I like Anne Hathaway in Dark Knight Rises. I really like Zoe Kravitz in The Batman. No good.
I wasn't really into Zoe Kravitz. I don't really get people's fascination with her. I don't think she's a great actress.
I like her. You should go see her new movie, Blink Twice, that just came out. It's her
is it with
directorial debut.
Channing Tatum? Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll check it out.
I saw it a couple weeks ago. I wanted to mention that on our recap episode as well, but it was spectacular.
Oh, wow.
Like, highly impressed by that
Maybe
movie.
I will check it out.
I really, really liked it. Fair enough about Zoe Kravitz. I thought she was great as Catwoman, but
I do kind of like her grounded design. It fits well with the other characters. She's in a motorcycle suit that's all leather, and then she has a makeshift mask that's got the kitty ears, just like very subtle and small. But she's a burglar. She's a cat burglar, right? So she just enough to hide her identity. So I did like that.
I think that's the thing, is that since Michelle Pfeiffer, we've only seen like these grounded takes on Catwoman, where Michelle Pfeiffer to me is like the perfect on-screen adaptation of the comic book character of Selena Kyle. And she does it perfectly. And it's kind of that classic like zero to hero type story that she has, where it's just like she's just this geeky woman that works in Christopher Walken's office, and and then he murders her, and then she just comes back to life by cat magic. And
there's a lot of women murdered in the Batman series and comics in general, but damn, even Batman and Robin, Poison Ivy's is just I shouldn't be laughing at this.
I don't know why you're laughing at this.
Because it's what happens is she's in this lab with this crazy guy, and he comes on to her, and she's like, no, like I want to do my research, and he pushes her into these like vials and beakers full of like chemicals that she's working on, and somehow the earth opens up and she's swallowed into this sinkhole in the lab, and he just walks away. It's a fucking dumb movie.
It's a terrible movie.
And remember the ice skates that Batman and Robin?
God, they like click their feet.
They click their feet and the bat skates, and then they're trying to get this diamond, and somehow they get hockey sticks.
I'll get the ice. You get the ice, man.
Oh my god!
I really do know that movie word for word.
You're the only one.
It's because every line of dialogue is just so painfully horrible that it's like I can't help but remember how bad it is.
Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman. Just what?
I get your point when you're like, there's a lot of dead women in the Batman series, though, but I think that's another characteristic of Batman as a character, is that he has very specific relationships with the women in his life. And that's why, like, when it comes to somebody like Selena Kyle / Catwoman, his relationship is very specific. And also, I would say with Talia al Ghul, he has a very, very, very deep relationship and very deep relationship with her as well. Vicky Vale in some versions as well. She's kind of the love interest in the first Tim Burton film. Yeah. But she's in a lot of different comic books as well. But they're there, but the prominence of it really just has to do with Batman as this mysterious figure in a lot of ways too, and how detached he is just in general from most people. But that's why he vibes with people that are kind of like in the same game as him too. But bringing it back a little bit to
or a lot of it. I'm so sorry.
To the Batman. This movie really does have a great cast though. Despite your feelings on Zoe Kravitz, I think it's a pretty exceptionally built cast. I love Jeffrey Wright as Gordon. Maybe my favorite as Gordon as well. I love
in live action. Sure,
I love Gary Oldman as well. I think Gary Oldman is honestly pretty perfect as that character. But there's just something about the relationship dynamic between Batman and Gordon in this newer film that I like the most, because they're pretty much instantly established as friends in some way. He always calls him man.
Yeah.
It's like, so it's like they're cool. They're like really
yeah.
cool. Just like, you could have pulled that punch, man.
I did. You've talked about Paul Dano. I think he's a great villain as the Riddler. I think he's only second to the Joker in The Dark Knight. I thought he was just amazing as the Riddler. He was very intimidating. I don't think I disagree with that. Right, yeah, no. Right. Even his first scene, which is the first scene in the movie, it is so creepy and scary. It's one of the only times that I felt, well, no, actually there are a few times when they have a few jump scares in this movie, but they're all effective. Just immediately you're convinced that the Riddler is a serial killer.
He's a psychopath, yeah.
There's a lot of influences from, I would say, what's the famous serial killer from that we talked about a few reviews ago? The Zodiac Killer.
Zodiac, yeah.
Like there's a lot of
David Fincher.
There's a lot of influences by the Zodiac Killer. Even just the mask,
the mask, the letters that are sent to the Batman. Yeah. That's actually that's kind of something I want to mention too, because I always notice this more and more every time I rewatch this film. I kind of love how he doesn't call himself Batman.
Yeah.
Like, actually the only person that really does is the Riddler. Like, literally no one in the entire movie refers to him as the Batman. They just kind of refer to him as the masked vigilante. And it kind of makes me feel like that it adds a lot more weight to the title of the movie, because it's called The Batman, because it's kind of the Riddler's game. Like, his game is based around the Batman and everything he's doing, because he's inspired by him, and he's going after these corrupt figures because he thinks that the Batman is working in tandem with his actions.
Well, yeah, it like you said, it goes to him being a fanatic and being inspired by the Batman. It's respect. Yeah. I'm giving you your title. You are the Batman. Yeah. These other people, they don't want to give Batman power, and so they just call him masked vigilante. Great performance by Paul Dano.
He's really great, and I just think everything they do with the Riddler in this is just like, Paul Dano is great as the Riddler, but it's just the characterization of the Riddler that that really makes him elevated to this legendary film villain status, especially when it comes to the interpretations of Batman's rogues gallery of villains. I think it really is just under Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah,
he's perfect.
Yeah,
and like a really, really nice contrast to Jim Carrey playing the Riddler and Batman Forever.
Don't even
where it's
mention
like it's goofy and it's over the top and it's like, what the hell. I love it still for what it is, but that's not what I want to see from the Riddler. And this movie finally gave me what I always envisioned the Riddler to be like on the comic book pages.
Jim Carrey should have been like the Joker or something like that. That would have been better.
He could have done that for sure.
But he even has the face for it. But moving on, we've already strayed enough. Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Oh my god!
And when I saw this movie, I didn't know that Colin Farrell was going to be in the movie. Yeah. And so when I'm looking at this actor, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
And then it's like, it's Colin Farrell.
After I looked, I was like, what? That wasn't Colin Farrell. But then you look at, I could only tell when I have the pictures side by side, like Colin Farrell, and then him with all the makeup as the Penguin, and then you can tell.
You can kind of see it. Yeah.
But
the prosthetic work on him is just insanely good, and there's so much detail on his face too.
There is. He has a scar.
He's got a lot of scars.
The false
on his
teeth.
Face. Yeah. Those like two gold teeth that are like on the left side a little bit.
His receding hairline, like he's
his voice. It's like it sounds like he's like been like a chain smoker for his whole life, and he's just Italian.
Just a backstory. Colin Farrell, after the first time that they put the makeup on him, and then their first day on set, he walks up to Jeffrey Wright in character. It's like, hey, to Jeffrey Wright trying to talk to Jeffrey Wright, and Jeffrey Wright goes to Matt Reeves and is trying to get Colin Farrell removed from the set because he couldn't recognize Colin Farrell, and Matt Reeves was like, no, that's Colin, and Jeffrey Wright was even just in person was shocked. Yeah, just
I don't think there's anybody in this movie that had more fun acting than Colin Farrell.
Of course not. No,
he is just having such a blast this entire movie.
And even this depiction of the Penguin is definitely different from other depictions of the Penguin. Oswald Cobblepot is the Cobblepots are almost like the Waynes. They're
very
wealthy family in Gotham.
He's
very
not
old,
that at
old
all.
Money.
Yeah.
No, he's not that at all in this movie. He's a gangster, and he's
a street guy.
He is.
Mm-hmm. He's pushing the product. He's shooting the cops up. He's a lunatic.
Move that dope.
Yeah, move that dope. I was listening to that today. I shit you not.
Backstory to our friendship, people. One day, it's just a very long night. I was in grad school and Davis was working late, and so I was driving him home, and we're both tired, just working like dogs. And I put on that song,
Move That Dope.
Yeah. And we were nodding our heads the whole way.
I'm just like side-eyeing you, like, you fuck with this?
Yeah.
It's like, I fuck with this.
You're a man of culture.
Just like
Yeah.
Future's first album.
Exactly.
Like Colin Farrell would play that too.
He probably would.
He would totally put that on while driving in the street.
And by the way, they have a Penguin show.
Yeah, we watched the first episode.
Yeah,
it's really good so far.
I did enjoy it.
It's a great start.
There are quite a few influences, or at least there are shows or movies that it reminded me of. It reminded me a lot of The Sopranos.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Training Day sometimes.
Yeah, because with his relationship with the kid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of. It's a clean transition from the movie.
Yeah.
The events of the movie at the end that's where the show begins.
What's so great about it so far too is it's like a lot it's a lot more mature than the Batman is, which is saying a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Batman is already a pretty dark and thrilling film. Like, not one I would necessarily recommend to kids at all.
You cannot. No, kids do not watch. Well, don't listen to this podcast. First of all,
yeah. Fuck out of here.
Whoa. Hey, that was Davis, by the way. I don't use profanity.
Of course, you're a good Christian man. Or however you identify. I'm sorry.
Hey, you don't know my identity.
I really don't.
Hey, I could be.
We're not that close.
I could praise the spaghetti god or whatever they call it. The spaghetti monster. The flying spaghetti monster. You ever heard of that religion?
What are you talking about now?
It's a religion.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
The show's really good so far. So, yeah, it's very good because it's like characters are saying fuck every other word.
There's a woman that shows her breasts in the movie.
And there's
in the show.
And there's a lot of violence in it too.
Yeah.
Like there's a scene near the end of the episode where a character is trying to remove somebody's arm with that surgery wire.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the hell is this show?
No,
this is the real deal.
The tone of the show is not exactly in stark contrast to the movie.
No.
But it's a different kind of violence. It's a different kind of grittiness, and
it's really grounded. Like you said, it feels more like The Sopranos in the way where it's like actually from the perspective of the criminal underworld of Gotham.
Yes, but there's also some humor that reminds me of Better Call Saul, where it's very dry and it's very dark.
Yeah, like the Penguin himself had, like Oz Cobblepot has a very dark sense of humor. And Colin Farrell was just chewing up the screen the whole episode.
You know what? I was thinking about Colin Farrell, and he is certainly particular with the scripts that he has chosen to be a part of in the last 10 years, I would say. And I think that there's no way he would have done this show if it wasn't written in his sense of humor, which is like a pretty dark, like dry sense of humor, right?
Absolutely.
And the first 15 minutes of the show are funny, and a lot of it is just the Penguin by himself doing shit. Like there's
because he's a goofy dude.
He throws something down some stairs.
I know.
And
I was just like there's moments like that where it's so dry, and he pauses, and you already kind of know what he's thinking because it's like it's this wide shot of him looking down the stairs, and it's like he's gonna throw that dead body. Isn't he?
Oh no! Well, even there's a part of the first 5 minutes of the show, something happens, and you think that they're opening to you think you know where the show is going, and then the Penguin does something where
the instant subversion of expectations in this episode, just really good stuff.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not I don't have very high expectations.
Me neither, but I didn't going into the first episode, but like it sufficiently surprised me, and I was like, this is good. This was very well written, very well acted. I like the production design. It's a good. It's not, like you said, a stark contrast to the Batman. It still feels like it's in that world, but also good character work because it's pretty much all dialogue the whole episode.
Yeah,
and it's just like this is a TV show for sure.
Yeah,
and I'm liking it for that reason.
And there's complexities to the character. You know, he's this obvious monster. He's killing people. He's selling drugs, but he cares for his mother.
Yeah, that was a really interesting scene. Yeah, I like that scene. You kind of like, and his relationship that he develops with this kid that he's taken under his wing was very natural, because there's like 3 occasions in which it's like he's probably gonna pop this kid in the back of the head. And he almost does.
They lead to that.
And he almost does several times.
The kid is like begging,
and he's just like, "Man, you are pathetic. I gotta toughen you the fuck up."
There is something about the kid that reminds the Penguin of himself.
Exactly, because they're kind of bonding over being street kids.
Being street kids, being from similar neighborhoods, right? Like I think
the East Side or
yeah,
something.
yeah. The Penguin said like, "Oh, I didn't grow up over there, but close to there." And they knew the same.
They knew locations. Yeah.
The kid has a stutter, and the Penguin is a guy who has a limp and
he's got
a
club
deformity
foot for him.
There's a lot of overlaps that the Penguin, by the end of the episode, just finds himself endeared with this kid. Yeah. Even though the kid is still
a hostage, essentially.
Basically, yeah, because he's basically involved in this murder.
It's like there's about to be like a lot of Stockholm syndrome with this kid by the end of the season.
Yeah. And it's still a Batman property, so I don't know how much. Like the Sopranos was fucked up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're gonna go all the way Sopranos and have people, strangled in their cars and shit like that.
I can imagine. I mean, again, we almost saw somebody's arm get taken off with that surgery wire, and that was already like, holy shit. Yeah, they're gonna go there. We see like a teenager get fucking shot in the head at one point.
Damn.
I'm just like, no, this show's not gonna hold much back, and I'm kind of loving it, and it almost makes me hopeful that maybe the next Batman movie will be R-rated.
I mean, with the success of Deadpool, why not?
I know,
right? Maybe some properties should be R-rated, and then like Blade can't be PG-13. No. It has to be. It's a black dude with a sword killing white vampires.
Exactly.
Come on, man. Well, yeah. Use the hard R. For Blade, use the hard R.
That works for me. That works for me.
Yeah. No. So.
Okay. So the Penguin's really good so far.
Yes.
I don't know if we'll review the whole series, but I mean,
if it's good enough, why not?
If it's good, maybe. Yeah. We'll come back to it. But Colin Farrell is great as the Penguin. I love him, and I also say I love John Turturro as Carmine.
Carmine Falcone. Yeah,
he's really good. He's intimidating. It's a cool role for, I don't know. There's something about his costuming that I love the most in this movie. Like the aesthetics with his character is just like, he's a real crime boss, isn't he? And you always feel that from him too. And not in the super colorful villainy way that Colin Farrell's Penguin has.
Yeah.
Like he feels like he's the man in charge of everything.
Yeah, he's more stoic. Not even stoic, but he doesn't have to raise his voice. He's not,
which is kind of a nice new take compared to like Tom Wilkinson's Carmine Falcone from Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Who I thought he was great as that character as well too. He's got like a little bit more of that classic gangstery feel to him, and he, like Carmine Falcone, John Turturro's version is kind of like a playboy almost, or he loves his clubs and he loves being around all these women. He loves really nice shiny things, and he likes to feel like everything's polished.
Like Diddy.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Okay.
Polished.
Whoa. A lot of oil.
Really like Diddy.
My goodness.
Yeah. He probably was.
Or maybe Diddy was like Carmine Falcone.
I recently saw a video of Diddy. He dressed up as Heath Ledger's Joker for 1 year.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not great.
What you just said aged terribly.
In the 5 seconds when I said it?
In the 5 seconds.
I mean, look. Well.
We don't have to look at anything.
No, we don't.
Yeah, John Turturro's great. Cast is great. Man, and again, I love the mystery of it, because I think this is my favorite movie also with Batman being a detective. because he actually is detecting throughout most of this movie.
Yeah, there's that great sequence when they're trying to find the thumb drive, and Batman is trying to solve this puzzle that the Riddler left and all these clues, and then it leads to the mayor's car, and then the mayor's thumb is attached to a keychain that's attached to the thumb computer drive, right? That's fun.
That's a very David Finchery kind of dry sense of humor as well too.
Yeah.
But I love the scene where the first scene where he's looking around the mayor's place after he was murdered, and you can just see him surveying everything. He's just like, everybody's talking about like, why is he here? He shouldn't be here. But the Batman's just in the background doing his own thing, looking around, puzzling things together, and he pieces it together and just says a couple words in the entire scene, and it just reveals what all the cops that are there are missing. Yeah. And it really showcases his skill sets in detection, and I really like that.
And well, even further, we know that this is Batman's second year as Batman, right? And so, yeah, he's solving the mystery, but he doesn't get every clue. This isn't the Batman that's just
he's solving. Not perfect. Yeah.
He's not perfect, right? So he misses
El
clues.
Rada Alada.
Yeah. Or even the final clue that he has to, pull up the
with the carpet spreader thing.
Yeah, the thing that lets him dig up the carpet to reveal the Riddler's true final plot.
It's really nice to know that all the pieces really are there from the start of the movie for the mystery to kind of come full circle.
Yeah, because we're past spoilers.
Yeah, we definitely are. But the murder weapon that's like used to kill the mayor at the very beginning of the movie, happens to be the same object that he needs in order to reveal the entire plot the Riddler had the whole time.
Well, even more than that, the Riddler, his hiding spot is right across the street from Carmine Falcone's
so
club,
he's like right there.
Yeah, and even the first shot of Carmine Falcone's club, you can see the Riddler's apartment. You can see him looking out the window to the front door of Carmine's club.
Yeah, the Iceberg Lounge.
Iceberg Lounge. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
It
really works as it's a really well thought out mystery thriller in that way, and that's why it can work just as that and not just a Batman movie. But all the Batmanisms are great. The car chase scene.
Oh man,
holy shit, dude!
That's another thing that I thought wouldn't grab me. Because they revealed the Batmobile and it's just a muscle car with a rocket on its.
Do you know how they actually got that sound?
No.
For the sound of the engine in the back of it.
Yeah.
It's actually the sound of a reverse firecracker going off.
Okay.
That's how they if you look into the sound design and the sound work of this movie, you'd be surprised with a lot what they do, and it's impressive stuff.
Well,
it's very creative.
When Batman is revving the car and you see everyone's slow motion face.
Yeah, like Gordon's looking, the Penguin's looking, and it's the first reveal of the Batmobile, and it's just like, holy shit. And it's loud as hell, and so you're just like, this, I wouldn't mess with that guy.
No.
And then one of the best car chase sequences on film precedes that, and I love it. I love how the cameras are just kind of attached to the side of the cars. So it feels very intimate, and it's not a ton of wide shots of it happening. It's just it's a very intimate car chase sequence, but it's great stuff. And just the shot after the explosion and Penguin's car flips over and he's just walking out from behind the fire. It's a reverse shot, so he's it's
he's
upside down. It's just this is good fucking stuff.
It's all practical effects.
I know. Oh my god,
the explosions. Oh yeah.
It's all great stuff, and it's great. I love it. It's a great movie.
What do you think they're gonna do in the sequel, the Batman 2?
I don't know,
because there's a lot of talk about who's the next villain gonna be, and they have the deleted scene of the Joker.
Yeah, which is a great deleted scene. It's a really interesting relationship that they have. Barry Keoghan's Joker, and
I've never even seen the deleted scene because I love the movie so much that I didn't want the deleted scene to ruin the movie.
It won't.
Okay.
I'd highly recommend it. Honestly, you'll watch it and you'll just be like, damn, I kind of do wish this was in the movie, because it's a really good exchange of dialogue just between the Joker and the Batman, and it really helps you understand. And it's like it was a part of the movie originally, and it's just he goes to the Joker for advice on how the Riddler thinks, because he's trying to find him, and it's like probably was somewhere in the middle of the movie, but it's a great 15-minute or like 7-minute exchange of dialogue between the two of them. And they don't really show a lot of like focused shots of Barry Keoghan, but like a lot of the unfocused shots are very disturbing and creepy. Like the makeup work looks great on him. But I'm hoping they're going to do Mr. Freeze.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us on this last installment of Loose Leaf Podcast.
The very last, huh?
The very last.
That did it.
I quit.
You quit. Okay, well, I'll explain why I like this.
Well, I think it's because you're gonna say at the end of the Batman, it ends with this huge flood in the city, and so there's all this water, and of course there's already a ton of water in the city anyway. And so, sure, Mr. Freeze.
Is that what you think I was going to say?
I mean, you know what?
You don't know me.
I don't. You're right.
You don't know where I've been.
Oh,
you don't know the infrastructure of Gotham.
Okay, then tell me, Davis.
No, I honestly just want to see Mr. Freeze just because I would love to see a new interpretation of that character.
Okay.
For like how silly the last interpretations we got of both the Riddler and Mr. Freeze, they really impressed me by what they were able to do with the Riddler. So I'm fascinated by what these writers, Peter Craig and Matt Reeves, I'm interested to know what they could do with a new take on Mr. Freeze. And if not that, then I don't know, probably Hush.
Hush would be cool.
Hush would be like kind of a safe option in my opinion, just because he's actually kind of that serial killer that... The Riddler almost feel like the characterization of the Riddler in this movie feels like it took a lot of influences from Hush almost too, because his face is like it's got this mask, but it almost feels like in a lot of lightings that it's like bandaged up, and it looks like how Hush would look. I don't know, but Hush would be good. It'd be a good safe option. I think they're gonna bring in Harvey Dent in the next movie.
Okay.
I don't know if that means Two-Face, but because Peter Sarsgaard played the DA in this first movie, and the Riddler murders him, it leaves a DA position open.
Sure.
So I'm assuming Harvey Dent's going to come in, especially when they would need a figure like that for to be uplifted.
Yeah, they need to reform the city.
And there was some propaganda tabloids that they were doing as precursors to this Penguin show. And some of the sketch imagery on the tabloids are talking about how the new DA is doing stuff, but they don't name who the DA is. Okay. And the sketch looks like how you would expect Harvey Dent to look. Okay. Just like an upstanding, handsome-looking guy.
Yeah. And
so I'm like, I can imagine they might want to incorporate Harvey Dent into the next story. And I think it would work very well at this point.
Sure.
I hope Josh Hartnett plays him. That's my fan cast.
Oh, my God. I mean, okay. Yeah,
you hate all my ideas.
Well, yeah. That's why we get along.
By the way, I hated your Hitch 2 idea. It's a lie. It was actually pretty good.
Oh, thank you. No, I actually think that there's nothing wrong with the Mr. Freeze one. I think could be an issue just because this is another grounded take on Batman, even though I wouldn't mind.
It'd be harder to do for sure.
It'd be harder, but also I'd be okay with them stepping into the just science fiction of certain Batman villains.
Perhaps, but they don't have to do a perfect interpretation either.
No.
I don't need Victor Freeze to have like his big
freeze
tech
gun.
Suit. Yeah, freeze gun, a big tech suit, and be speaking like he's in a spaceship all the time.
Yeah. Well, but hey, like, as long as the characters are done well, you can do whatever, man. Like even the Mr. Freeze in Batman the Animated Series, that episode won an Emmy award.
Did it?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Great.
It won a Emmy, and so I think if it's dramatic enough, if the writing is done well, you can do whatever.
Do you have a preferred villain that you would like to see for the sequel?
Okay, so because you gave you gave one that was sort of, the powers are a little out there, and so it might be harder to introduce into a grounded Batman movie. I'll give one of those, and then I'll give a more grounded villain.
Okay.
Clayface or Killer Croc, I think could be pretty good for. Davis is shaking his head. No, hey, it's okay.
Let me guess. Because the city is flooded, there's a giant man crocodile that's now roaming the streets of
Actually, hey, why not? But I mean, also,
can make it just like a classic skin disease, like it actually is from the comics. But
sure,
like make it real grotesque. Do some body horror with it.
The other thing is, Killer Croc. His origin does come from the mob, and so if you want to,
wasn't he like he was a mob enforcer?
He was a mob enforcer.
Yeah.
Clayface, I just like the villain.
I love Clayface too. But that will not work.
It won't. That's what I'm saying. Like, but I think it's on that same level of Mr. Freeze, where it's like, yeah, you have a clay monster.
One of them is a clay monster. The other is just like a guy with like he's like an ice guy. Well, I don't know.
Well, okay, sure.
Never mind.
Exactly. Yeah, they're both exactly.
Freeze.
Thank you. Okay, so the more grounded one, there's Victor Zsasz.
Victor Zsasz would be classic.
Yeah, Victor
Zsasz would be a good one.
But it goes back to just a guy with a knife that's a serial killer. So it would be more of the same.
I'd rather, yeah. I mean, if we're gonna just do that, I'd like to just see Hush,
or make a new villain. Why not? Make a new one.
I love originality, but I just love his rogues gallery so much that I'm like, I like seeing new waves of interpretations.
Well, what's another one?
They could just do Scarecrow.
Again,
I like Scarecrow.
This one would be terrible.
I'm sorry.
This one, the one that I'm thinking of. What's the like giant zombie in the sewers?
Solomon Grundy.
Grundy. Like, why not? I would love Solomon Grundy.
What's funny is the way that when we're talking about all the villains, I'm just like, man, the options are kind of limitless. We don't know who they're gonna go with.
No, we don't. But I would love.
They really could like. It's not a perfect world, so they could really just go with any one of these.
I think the direction, if you want to go into just really deep into Batman's rogue gallery, I think what could happen is Batman, after the first movie, he knows that he needs to be more of a beacon of hope instead of a beacon of fear. And so he does that. He has a really successful year of being a vigilante.
I think he's gonna really dive into the philanthropic lifestyle, the Playboy lifestyle that he has, and we're gonna see a new version of Bruce Wayne.
Exactly.
He's gonna be more eccentric, more expressive,
not closed off.
Exactly. Yeah. Which will be like provide some good range for Robert Pattinson to act with.
Exactly.
And especially since I'm sure Colin Farrell's Penguin will return for the next movie too.
This show guarantees.
I'm assuming he's gonna like this is kind of an origin story for how he builds himself up to becoming the main leader of the criminal underworld
and the owner of the Iceberg.
Exactly.
Lounge,
so I'm assuming that's kind of where he'll start out at in the next Batman movie as the new Falcone, essentially. But he'll be the Penguin,
the new big mobster. Yeah.
Exactly. But
so you have this point where there's a new Gotham that is seeing the light. Basically, it's moving to a new direction, and then out of nowhere you have this villain with these incredible powers that no one has ever seen, including Batman. Like, I think that could be interesting.
It could be interesting,
where it's like, wow, I've been fighting these gangsters, I've been fighting the Riddler, who's a serial killer, but I've never fought a guy that can shoot ice out of a cannon, or I've never fought a motherfucker that's made out of clay.
Literally.
Right? So it just...
No matter what they do, I'm like, just given the tone of this recent film, it's going to have to do with a lot of social economics in some way.
You think so?
I do. But I think that's what makes this movie so good, too, is it's willing to kind of confront those elements about the city of Gotham.
Imagine this version of Batman. He's in the sewers, just scoping something out, right? And he turns his flashlight and he sees this giant Solomon Grundy.
Like, I'm imagining that image. That would scare the living shit out of me.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
And they really love the darkness of this series now. They kind of like to get a little scary with it.
Yeah.
So, but I did hear a rumor it's going to be taking place around Christmas time, too. So we're going to get like a little bit more of a snowy Gotham, possibly. So I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Well, this movie happens at the end of November or the end of no,
it's Halloween.
It's right. It begins on Halloween.
Yeah,
and then
I don't know like the length of time in which all this is going.
It's 7 days, right? Because because I guess there's some biblical references, like even.
With the way that the Riddler's game.
Yeah. And so on. There's a flood and all this shit, stuff like that.
That's true. Yeah. I love the scene with Batman and Riddler talking finally and confronting each other. That's probably my favorite scene in the movie, where he goes and visits him at Arkham, and they just finally get to talk one-on-one. And I love how they never really confirm nor deny if the Riddler knew the Batman is Bruce Wayne. There's a lot of strong indications that he does, but he's not really interested in just like outing him.
I would say that he doesn't know, because he has a hatred for the Waynes and Bruce Wayne. And I think that his hatred of Bruce Wayne and his love for Batman makes him not be able to match the two together. Sure, like, how could this debonair playboy who doesn't care about the poor, his family doesn't care about the poor, how does this person become this vigilante that I love so much and is fighting crime and is antithetical to the wealthy? I think that makes me think that the Riddler actually doesn't know Batman's identity as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I could believe it for sure. I mean, either way, it's great writing, great direction, brilliant screenplay and direction from Matt Reeves. I love this movie. I think it's my second favorite Batman movie after The Dark Knight. And I grew up with so much Batman media like you did. Yeah. And I've always just had such a soft spot for this character. And I just think Batman media always kind of takes place in like a realm of its own, where it's very separate from a lot of other superhero projects, because like half the time when I sit down and watch it, it never really feels like it's a superhero series. Like, I watched this movie and I'm like, it's classified as a superhero film, but it's like, is it? It's more of a vigilante crime thriller, if anything.
Well, that's what
which is an actual subgenre.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, is that Batman is a vehicle for telling a lot of different stories. And yeah, a lot of them are mysteries. He's the world's greatest detective for Detective Comics, DC. But like, there's been a lot of stories, a lot of Batman stories that have really surprised me at how much depth there are, including with the villains, and how a lot of them are reflections of Batman and his trauma, losing his family in this, very corrupt and violent city. It just has just over my 28 years, about to be 29, like just a lot of great storytelling.
Very much so. Yeah. And I just can't wait to see what more we get from Batman media. We're getting another Batman film from Matt Reeves. We're getting another season of the new series.
We're also getting just a new Batman from the new Justice League movies, I guess. They're making the new Superman. They're having.
We'll see if that even happens. I don't know.
Dude. Because if
announcements don't mean announcements
Superman
don't mean
sucks,
shit,
then this isn't gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean they announced that they wanted to do a Ben Affleck Batman film.
Oh no,
which I would have liked to see, but it didn't happen, and here we are. But great movie.
Yes.
Great movie. Love this movie. We love Batman. This was probably half about the movie and the other half more about how much we love Batman.
We were just bullshitting, honestly.
But yeah, Batman's great. But everybody, thank you for coming to our first episode of our Halloween series that we're doing this year. We hope that you can tune in for the rest of the season and the month. We got a lot of great stuff coming as always. Feel free to send us any questions or comments to our leaf pile at Loose Leaf Media. You can follow that social media page. You can send us anything through our Gmail account. That link should be in all the descriptions. And we'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you again for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.